So today I'm going to discuss about the topic malaria. This particular topic belongs to your course MMB 205 and this topic falls under module 4. This is the last module we are going to discuss about the course. So malaria is indeed a serious and sometimes fatal disease caused by a parasite known as Plasmodium. There are different species of Plasmodium that is responsible for this particular disease, malaria, that commonly infects a certain type of mosquito, Anopheles mosquito, which feeds on human. Mostly the adult female Anopheles mosquito sucks blood from human. So when they feeds from human, they infect the human individuals. Malaria, this particular term, originates from an Italian word that is malaria. It means the English meaning is bad air, and nearly 40% of the world population lives in the endemic area. So this information clearly tells you what importance is given by the uh, subcontinental, subtropical or tropical region-based countries, because a wide distribution of many tropical and subtropical regions of the world, this particular disease is affecting the human individuals. So as I said, the causative agent is a Plasmodium species. It is a protozoan species, parasite. And this protozoan parasite is transmitted by the Anopheline mosquitoes. And these are the species of Plasmodium: Falciparum, Vivax, Malaria, and Oval. So out of these four, Plasmodium falciparum is really very much important. We are going to discuss about this particular species of Plasmodium. So this particular disease, as I said, 18th century, so nearly 100 years back, this particular disease has been discovered by Charles Louis Alphonse Laveran. So Laveran was a French army doctor, and he was posted in Algeria, observed parasites inside red blood cells of the soldier. Then he have isolated the parasite from the blood smear of the infected individuals and proposed for the first time that this is a protozoan caused disease. Later on, Ronald Ross, one of the pioneer scientists in medical microbiology, discovers the relation between mosquitoes and means the role of mosquito in transmission of Plasmodium parasite. So in 1898, he has discovered that mosquitoes transmitted malaria. So the drug, particularly against malaria, was isolated by the two scientists, Pierre Pelletier and Joseph Caventou. So they have isolated quinine from the bark of the cinchona tree and in Peru, and since then quinine is used, or else its derivative has been used as a drug of this particular disease. No effective vaccine to date, only immunity is a result of multiple infections. But scientists are trying. Some vaccines are in clinical trial that we are going to discuss in this lecture. So as I said, malaria is a vector-borne disease. Here the vector is Anopheles mosquito. So there are different types of Anopheles mosquito, and this classification has been made on the basis of uh, the region uh, they stay. So Anopheles culicifacies, these are mostly the rural and peri-urban mosquitoes, whereas Anopheles fluviatilis, mostly found in forest and hilly areas. Anopheles stephensi, urban and industrial areas, and Anopheles minimus, we can found in the foothills. So this is the vectors. The lifespan is 10 to 12 days, and their choice of host is definitely the human being. Breeding habitat, mostly they prefer moving water, not stagnant water. Moving water, and if it is a stagnant water, that water should be clean. So moving waters especially, or else wells, fountain, garden pools, but the water should be clean. And the time of biting is night time. Means at the night, Anopheles, adult Anopheles female mosquito will bite human. So these are the four different types of Anopheles mosquito. Anopheles balabensis, Anopheles gambii, Anopheles stephensi, and Anopheles friborni. So here Anopheles stephensi is the very much important mosquito that is functioning as a vector of Plasmodium. Now, how the mosquitoes they are actually developing this particular disease. So Anopheles mosquito they have different stages, different developmental stages. First, this disease of malaria spread depends on the life cycle of the mosquito. Adult mosquitoes lays egg on the water, then the eggs hatch to become larvae and then pupa before turning into the adult stage. Then adult female mosquitoes, they only live for 2 to 4 weeks. They are actually the causative agent, means functioning as a vector, not a causative agent, actually they are functioning as a vector. So we can reduce malaria by attacking one of these four stages of the mosquito life cycle to prevent spreading of this particular disease. Now, how Plasmodium vivax develop? What is the life cycle? So, if we want to separate the two animals, one is a mosquito, one is a human being. So, there are two different life cycles. One is the mosquito life cycle of the Plasmodium. This life cycle signifies the mosquito stages, and this one, there are two different stages, two different cycles performed in exoerythrocytic cycle that is performed in the liver of human being, and the second one is the erythrocytic cycle that is performed in the RBC, red blood cells of the human being. So overall, there are three different cycles performed in two animals. One is in mosquito, and the other two is in human. In two different organs or two different type of cells, liver and the red blood cells. Now I am going to discuss these life cycles very elaborately. So first we will go with the human cycle. So as I said that human cycles, there are two different stages. One is the exoerythrocytic cycle and second one is the erythrocytic cycle. So first, when the adult Anopheles mosquito, they suck blood, or mostly infection of malaria begins when an infected female Anopheles mosquito bites a person injecting Plasmodium parasite. in the form of sporozoid. Here you can see the sporozoids. Here is green tubular forms. They are the sporozoid coming from the adult female mosquito. Now the sporozoids pass very quickly to the capillary system as well as to the lymph vessels. And from the capillary, they are directly entering into the liver of the human. After entering the liver, the sporozoids multiply asexually in the liver cells over the next 7 to 10 days, covering no symptoms. So this phase is an completely asymptomatic phase. In an animal model, the parasite in the form of merozoid, this is the merozoid form, from sporozoid to merozoid, are released from the liver cells, the hepatocytes, in vesicles. Here you can see these are the vesicles. This one is the vesicles. So there are so many number of merozoites are present, and they are under this vesicle. So the journey through so they will come out from the liver cell here with the vesicle, and then enter the heart. From heart, they will travel to the lungs, where they settle uh, within lungs capillaries here, within lung capillaries. And the vesicles eventually disintegrate at the lung capillaries. Here you can see the vesicles disintegrated and merozoids are coming out at the lung capillaries. And enters the blood phase of their development. So in the blood phase or bloodstream, the merozoids invade red blood cells and multiply again until the cells burst. Then they invade more RBCs, means here they are invading into the RBCs, then multiplying there. Here the mode of reproduction is the asexual reproduction, which is called zygogony. And this was particular, they prefer multiple fission as the mode of asexual reproduction. So many numbers of merozoids are formed, and they will rupture the RBC and then infect a new fresh RBC. So the cycle is repeated, causing fever each time parasites break free and invade a new blood cells. The individual is feeling fever. Some of the infected blood cells uh, leave the cycle, that is the asexual mode of reproduction. Instead of that replicating, the merozoids actually the cells then develop into sexual forms. So they will convert their mode of reproduction from a sexual mode of reproduction here to a sexual mode of reproduction, and we can find development of gametocytes. So into sexual forms of the parasites that are called gametocytes that circulate in the bloodstream. And when the mosquito again bites an infected human individual, it ingests this gametocytes, which develop further into mature sex cells, and these are called gametes. So here you can see with this arrow, uh, I'm showing that these gametocytes are taken by the mosquito when they are again going for biting or sucking blood. So from there, the mosquito cycle started. So after sucking the gametocytes, so then the gametocytes here, the gametocytes will move, both the male and female gametocyte will meet each other, and they will convert into gametes. The fertilized gametes, female gametes, develop into actively moving form. These are known as the eukinete form. Here you can see this is the eukinete form, and this development of eukinete happens at the gut of the mosquito. So then the mosquito, then these eukinetes that burrow through the mosquito's mid-gut wall and form a second structure that is known as oocyst. And in this they took definitely near about 2 weeks for this development. And from the oocyst, they will come from the interior portion to the exterior portion, or mid-gut wall to the exterior surface. Now the oocyst will transform into again the sporozoite. They develop sporozoite, active sporozoite, and within the oocyst, and then the oocyst burst, releasing the sporozoite into the body's cavity. That is that now the sporozoite will travel to the salivary gland of the mosquito, and the cycle of human infection begins again when the mosquito bites another person. So this is how mosquito cycle or replication cycle of Plasmodium species has been completed. So these are the characteristics of the life cycle. So the intermediate host, so far we have studied about the two different life cycle of the Plasmodium. So the summary we get that the intermediate host is human, final host is mosquito, and the infective stage is sporozoite, infective way is mosquito biting. The parasitic position is liver as well as red blood cells, and the transmitted stage is the gametocytes, because they are converting from they're transforming from human to mosquito again. And the Cyzogony cycle in red blood cells, it is 48 hours. Means asexual reproduction is 48 hours.